What is up, Chocolatiers? It is my favorite time of the week, the review and recap for Peacemaker Season 2. This time it's episode 5, and there's a lot to say about this episode. I'm sure a lot of people will say it's filler like last week's episode, but I feel like we really got the needed character development that we needed for a lot of these characters, kind of tied up some loose ends with some other characters, and I really enjoy this one, I think, a lot more than last week's episode, which I still really liked. So with that, let's get right into it. Episode 5 is titled Copacetic. We're now past the halfway mark, and this episode is honestly one of the boldest, funniest, and darkest entries in the season so far, and so let's break it down. So we get a prologue, we get another one to start with, and I think James Gunn said in the last podcast episode that every week is going to start with a prologue. And this one's heavy. It takes us back to Rick Flag Jr.'s funeral. Rick Flag Sr.'s there, bitter and broken, and he runs to Emilia Harcourt. They share a brutally honest conversation about service, sacrifice, and whether any of this bloodshed was even worth it. And Rick Sr. tells Emilia that she should call him Rick, not General, calling back to an earlier episode, and even says that Jr. loved her. Emilia shuts it down, reminding him that his son loved many women. But then there's, get that weight with words, because that was the only person he called a friend, and Peacemaker killed him. And she vows that she's going to kill whoever killed Junior, and she's going to make him pay. And that sets the stage for the rest of the episode, because jumping to the present, we see Chris and Emilia's strained relationship come to the forefront. Turns out Emilia was never a traitor to the 11th Street Kids like we thought last episode, and she used their secret word Copacetic to warn Chris about Argus. And of course, Peacemaker being Peacemaker, he doesn't exactly take the subtle route, and he shows up at a crowded park, literally using bystanders and even dogs as shields from Judo Master's sniper fire. Classic Chris, his ego was just too big to play it safe. What really hurts is the emotional exchange between him and Emilia, because he wants to know if he ever meant anything to her, but she punishes him in the way she does by pretending that she doesn't. Not out of malice, but to protect him. Before things can escalate, Emilia does the unthinkable. She knocks Chris out cold in order to save him. And that's when we also learn that, Barreau is a cyborg. Craziest stuff. And here's where Rick Flag Sr. proved once again that he's a master manipulator, because he actually orchestrated everything. He knew Emilia was going to interfere, Economos filing Chris's arrest, and even Bordeaux, the cyborg-like Argus agent, being pulled into his orbit. There's even a flicker of flirtation between Singer and Bordeaux, echoing his earlier connection with Emilia, and you kind of have to wonder, is he trying to seduce every single woman that he has ties to his son? And we also saw from Creature Commandos, he knows how to pick up a princess. And he's calculating and dangerous and seems to be 2 steps ahead. And I really like how he's writing this character. And he seems to be very, very Amanda Waller-esque in like, I'm always ahead of you. Meanwhile, we cut back to the Sailor's Hill, where Leota finds or gets her freelance security girl thing on from this dude, and it's very funny because it's like a whole thing where the guy thinks that that she's into sex work, and it's classic Peacemaker humor, absurd, raunchy, and perfectly timed to break up the tension of that main story. And then that's when the innocence is paired with Adrian's blunt delivery, because it had me laughing out loud. That's when we get Red St. Wild versus Eagly, because this is one of the standout moments of the episode, but I feel like it was very short-lived, because even though it was hilarious about Red St. Wild, played by Michael Rooker, he whips out a cartoonishly oversized shotgun. It looks very much like a Looney Tunes episode, and he kills an eagle that's not Eagly, and turns out Eagly is exactly who he thought that he was, of being the alpha eagle, and they all kill him in like at the death of 1,000 cuts. Definitely one of the funnier characters that I feel like that was where the bow wrapping kind of started happening, because you can definitely tell these next 3 episodes they're probably going to be in the other universe, and probably leaving that universe clearly in the final episode. And I guess we'll see about those theories about this being Earth like X or something like that, because we're not really seeing any brothers on this Earth. And so now that Judo Master is over there, which we're going to get to, I've really been waiting to see what's going to happen when Adebayo and them get over there. So yeah, this is where we get the real emotional gut punch of the episode, though, because after Emilia's rejection, Chris starts spiraling into despair, and he feels like he has no place in this world. He activates the unfolding chamber and steps into the alternate reality, sealing it shut behind him with no way back after leaving a note. and Judo Master watches him go, which completely throws off Rick Flag Sr.'s plans. But on the other side, Chris is reunited with his brother Keith and even his father, and together with Eagly, they take on a kaiju downtown, very reminiscent to the kaiju that Superman took down in Superman. And finally, he's living out his dream of being a perfect superhero unit. It's ridiculous, heartfelt, and also tragic all at once. And that's when we get back into our world. The 11th Street kids find Chris's note where he promises to be a brother to his brother and a son to his father. It's dumb, funny, and very Peacemaker, but Emilia, she's not going to give up. She rallies the team to find a way into the alternate reality, determined to bring them back. And it ends with Peacemaker victorious in his new world, drenched in kaiju blood, embracing the other Emilia. And it's a bittersweet high note that leaves us wondering, is this really happiness or just another life Chris is telling himself? And we see from the scenes from next week's episode that they are going to be going over there to try to save Chris. It doesn't seem like it's going to take that long. So it's going to be the Adrian scene where they go down into his basement to do this stuff. But for me, I know that, like, you can technically say every episode's set up, because every episode's set up for the finale at the end of the day. But for these two episodes in particular, episode 4 and 5, I feel like they were definitely set up to get back over here, but they also gave Chris more motivation to go back over here with Harcourt. And so for that, I really think that this is one of my favorite episodes of the season, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I still want more Adrian. I feel like that's my only, like, problem with this series, or this season, I should say, so far, is that Adrian, I'm not saying he's front and center, clearly, it's Peacemaker show, but, like, I just feel like everybody's getting something to do. Even Economos is, like, front and center, and he's doing stuff. But, like, I feel like Adrian's just, like, he'll crack a stupid joke about manta rays or something like in this episode, and that's all he really gets. But next week we do see that he's suited up, so hopefully he'll get some more stuff to do, especially when he gets over into Other Earth. Maybe we get some GI robot stuff if we find that they're a bunch of Earth Xers or something. So with that, that is my review and recap of Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 5. I'm very excited for these last 3 episodes. I think James Gunn said the last 3 episodes are really crazy with, like, maybe cameos, stuff like that. So I know there's some rumors we might even see Superman, some Blue Beetle, something like that. Today he pretty much told people they weren't out of luck if they were wanting to see, not in Peacemaker, but just like in the DCU, of seeing the Question and some characters like that, like the Atom and stuff like that. So drop your, like I said every week, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think? Because he already confirmed cameos, so this ain't no BS where we like, oh man, we want it. No, like, he confirmed it. It's happening. It could even just be Lex Luthor. It could just be a random dude. It could be Ratcatcher. I don't know. But just comment down below, who do you think that who do you think is going to show up? And also comment down below who you want to show up. Like, for example, you might want Lobo to show up, but you probably think, he's probably not going to happen. But just 2 separate lists. And with that, I'll catch you guys next week for episode 6.